Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Masoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Haute Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journey, encourage folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Hello and welcome to the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of food entrepreneurs. We're glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Haute Sauce.
And Sarah Masoni of Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center. Hi, Sarah Marshall.
Hello, Sarah. I know that right now you are so busy because you are hot off the, coals off the ice cream extravaganza at the Food Innovation Center.
Yeah, we are actually in our second day of the 2-day conference, and we've just had Kate's ice cream speak. It was so fun. She brought 2 samples and even brought her waffle baker.
I love Kate.
Yeah, what a very inclusive ice cream shop.
So fun. Kate's been on the show before. You can look up her episode. So if people are interested in attending the conference next year, of course it's too late for this year, how do they sign up for it?
Well, it'll be announced on our website, hopefully, and then you can buy tickets. Anyone can come.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
We actually have a couple of people that are bloggers that have been watching it over the last couple of years and finally decided to buy a ticket and come.
That's
and they're
so cool.
just fascinated.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you learn a lot, and then you can talk more about the subject as you're going around and reviewing ice creams and talking about ice creams.
And we had we really wanted to be about the ice cream community. So we have people from Salt and Straw, from 50 Licks, from Kate's, from Tillamook.
Very cool.
We have somebody, Maura from Red Camper Foods. She was at part of the Regional Food Business Center. And I told her today, we need to get you on the show. She makes different types of jams, and she's looking at some kind of a concept for frozen dessert.
Cool.
Top secret.
We'll have her reach out. We'll book her on the show for sure.
Yeah, I told her.
Well, thanks for taking the time. I know you're
How about
busy
you?
during the
What
conference.
are you up to?
Well, I just turned
Top
in.
secret?
No, not top secret. Just turned in first draft of my book. So I'm trying to just enjoy this calm as my editor edits it, the first draft. And then starting up farmers market. So I'm about ready to get into, high production season. So I'm just trying to get my garden ready, do all the stuff that I need to do before I'm super busy. So just hanging with the fam, doing normal stuff.
What's the hardest pepper for you to get a hold of? Because we're going to plant prep almost all peppers in our raised beds this year. And I was like, maybe we should grow some, really spicy pepper for Sarah.
Yeah. The hardest pepper for me to get farmers to grow for me are the ones that are the smallest because they don't want to. Well, not that they don't want to. It's just takes a lot of labor for them to pick them. So Thai chilies, even though...
Oh, you want Thai chilies?
Yep,
those
Thai
are
chilies
so
are
easy
great
for us to grow.
I use them a lot. Those are the ones that I grow in my garden because I can't get the farmers to grow them because they're very hard to pick, because it's just tiny. They don't weigh a lot, so it's not really worth the money for them. So grow me some Thai chilies. I'll use them.
Okay. Any other spicy peppers you want, Ghost or?
No, because I mean, those ones I get usually from... West Wind Gardens because they grow them in big hot houses for me.
Okay.
So I'm good.
Okay, you got it. I'll tell the farmers at my house that we need some Thai chilies for Marshall's hot sauce.
Sounds good. Thanks, Sarah. Well, we want to thank our sponsor for supporting the Meaningful Marketplace. Thank you for helping us spread the word about small business owners and entrepreneurs. Let's hear a word from our sponsor, Prosper Portland.
Prosper Portland is the economic and urban development agency for the city of Portland. We focus on building an equitable economy by carrying out a comprehensive range of economic development programs that support small business, improve access to workforce training, and create jobs for Portland residents. Food and beverage manufacturing is a fast-growing industry that demonstrates strong, inclusive growth potential in Portland. It encompasses everything from entrepreneurs just starting out to established companies with international distribution. Prosper Portland works collaboratively with local companies and institutions to help grow priority industries like food and beverage manufacturing. This support takes the form of business retention, expansion, and recruitment visits, industry-specific programming, networking events, business-specific support, and access to capital. To learn how Prosper Portland can help your business, contact Yvonne Smoker, the Food and Beverage Manufacturing Industry Liaison, for more information, and visit prosperportland.us.
I want to introduce you to Laila, owner of Gilder Coffee Company, roasting coffee in Portland, Oregon. We're delighted to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
We want to connect our listeners to you and give them the best way to follow you and your story. How can they find you on social media and online?
So you can follow Gilder on social media on Instagram, Gilder Coffee, and it's Guilder. So like joining a guild, Gilder Coffee on Instagram, and our website, gildercoffee.com. They can follow me where I talk a lot about being a small business owner and entrepreneurship on my personal Instagram, which is Laila Ghambari on Instagram. So
perfect. Laila, we'll put links to both of those Instagrams in the show notes so people can follow you and your business. We always like to start at the beginning. So let's talk about when you started your business and what inspired you to start Gilder Coffee.
Sure. Well, it goes very far back to birth, actually. So I'm a second generation coffee business owner. My mother and father started a coffee company in Seattle, Washington. So I grew up in coffee. I've been doing this my entire life. I like to say that the only W-2 that I have ever had is from a coffee business. So this is what I've always done. I went to school for education and I wanted to be a teacher, but just kept going with coffee and being around an entrepreneurial family my whole life. Eventually owning my own business felt like the right thing to do. It felt like what I wanted to do and the path, but that's not what I did for a very long time. I worked for a ton of different coffee companies in the Pacific Northwest. In Seattle, I worked for my dad's company, Cherry Street Coffee House. I worked for my father's business in Seattle, Cherry Street Coffee House. I worked for Cafe Ladra, which is another multi-unit coffee roasting retail company. And then here in Portland, I worked for Stumptown Coffee Roasters for 5+ years as the director of education and the director of retail. So I used to run all of the Stumptown stores across the country. And so I did that for 20+ years, but I always wanted to own my own business. And that was always my goal, but it just never really felt like the right time. My husband at the time also worked in coffee and we had 3 kids, and it just never really felt like the right time to just kind of start from scratch and start our own business. But in 2024 or late 2023, a local business was for sale that was Gilder Cafe and Junior's Roasted Coffee. They had 3 locations and they roasted their own coffee. And after seeing the business and how well it was run and the locations that they had, it just felt like the right time to jump into that. And so my husband at the time and I bought the business in April 2024, and rebranded it a bit. And we since separated. And so I am the sole owner of the business now. So it's just me running things with my team.
Very cool. Well, let's talk about the thing I want to really talk about is the locations of the business, because you have such an iconic location being inside of Powell's Books. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like?
Yeah. So when I saw this business listing, it just had 3 locations. It'd been around since, I can't remember the exact date, but I was like, oh, this is probably Gilder Juniors. Like, I mean, I know every single coffee business in the city, and there's only a certain number that have a roasting and retail and all that sort of stuff. And so I was like, oh, this is probably Gilder. And then I was like, Gilder is inside Powell's. Could there be a better location in the city of Portland than inside Powell's? So once, we reached out to the broker and signed all the NDAs and everything and found out it was Gilder, I was just like, I mean, I can't ask for a better situation. I'm used to multi-unit retail and high volume retail. So, I wouldn't say just outright buying a business with 3 locations and roasting operation and kitchens and all that sort of stuff for someone who's not super experienced in running retail it's good move for them. But that's all I've done my whole life is run multi-unit retail. So it felt very, very comfortable for me to go from running Stumptown's 12 cafes across the country to just running 3 cafes here in Portland. And that location is a very busy cafe. I would say it's probably one of the busier cafes in the city of Portland. And that relationship, seeing as it is an independently owned business, family owned business, is so unique and special. And I am so thankful for it. They're so easy to work with. Our lease and everything is very flexible. It's been an incredible relationship that I see continuing to grow for a very long time. And it's very precious to us.
Yeah.
I literally had my first coffee in Portland in Powell's probably in like
Really? I think
1988.
Yeah.
I think that's true for a lot of people. And
Yeah.
that's what's really special about that place.
Yeah, I think it's too, it's being someone who grew up in Portland, it's like where, you just spend so much time, like as a kid, it's like where you do have your first like coffee or where you sit and hang out or where you maybe go on your first date. Like it's just like so
Yeah.
important and iconic to the city. So it's very cool that that has become part of your journey and part of where you're at. So you have a location inside of Powell's. We know that. Where can we direct other people to go? Where are your other locations?
Yes, we have 2 other locations. One is on 72nd and Prescott, so very close to the airport. I like to say it's the closest, especially coffee shop outside the airport is our little cafe on 72nd and Prescott. It's a great place to drop in before you go to the airport or after you get here to Portland. What's really cool about it is it's in a sort of the Portland food pod. It was an old gas station. And so inside is a tap house. It was Upright Brewing's tap house and our coffee shop. And then there's food trucks outside like Pine State Biscuit. So really cute little corner spot with lots of outdoor seating. And then our original first location is on 24th and Northeast Fremont. Beautiful brick building, lofted seating area with a full kitchen. So that space is also incredibly beautiful.
And then do you roast your coffee at one of those locations or do you have a separate place where you roast?
So when I bought the business, the roasting was happening inside the cafe on 24th and Fremont. So it's a 1,700 square foot space, has a full kitchen, cafe, and then our roasting operation. So it was a very tight setup, and I bought the business with big goals to grow it. And so I knew pretty quickly that one of my big goals was going to be getting the roaster out of that cafe so that cafe could stand alone and that we could grow the roasting side of things. So just this last, basically May 1st, we moved into a 10,000 square foot warehouse on sort of Swan Island under the 405, and we're able to renovate that 24th and Fremont cafe, extend the hours, add in beer and wine so that cafe can continue to grow in revenue, and then we can grow our roastery.
Very cool. That's exciting. Of course, you have all different kinds of roasts that you roast. And we ask this question of a lot of our, food packaged good producers, which is, what flavor represents their business best. But what roast do you think represents your business the best?
Yeah, so we are pretty distinctively a light roast company. So Portland, I mean, I grew up in specialty coffee. I drink coffee from everybody. And I think Portland has a pretty distinct, from all the many roasters that have been here for a really long time, have a pretty distinct like medium roast coffee. It's very approachable. We take a little bit of a different approach. It's more of a Nordic style of roasting where the coffee is roasted a little bit lighter, and it's meant to highlight more of the coffee beans themselves. So the terroir, where it was grown, what process was used, and so on. And you're not really getting much of the roast profile as the flavor. You're really tasting the flavor of the beans. And we go through a really meticulous process to choose coffees that we think so distinctively taste beautiful all on their own. And so then we roast just to highlight that. So for the most part, we just have one blend on our menu right now that is our espresso blend. It's called the Guild. It's meant to be a blend of coffees with importing partners and farmers that we work closely with, and creates this really beautiful blend of like-minded, beautiful coffees. And that's our Guild blend that we serve on espresso. And then everything else that we serve is a single origin coffee. So it's a coffee from a distinct region, distinct flavor profile. And you'll notice we indicate the different kind of experience that you're going to have with our coffees based on the card that's on it. So they're a different color. They're going to be brown, green, or pink. And those are going to indicate the kind of coffee experience you're going to have. So brown is more of a really approachable, kind of that chocolatey, nutty flavor that a lot of people like in coffee. Green is going to be a little bit more interesting, maybe a brighter acidity, some fruit in there. And then pink is going to be more of that wild coffee. It might have a unique process that gives you a lot more fruit and interesting flavors. So depending on what you're it's a choose your own adventure sort of situation.
I noticed that you offer other things besides coffee and congregating in your shops. Can you tell us a little bit about the What We Offer page on your website? It looks like menu consulting, staff training and education, equipment consulting. Oh my gosh, business management and quality focus sourcing and roasting. That's amazing.
Yeah, so we're also a wholesale coffee roaster. So we sell our coffee to cafes and grocery stores and offices and so on, for people to sell as well. And seeing as I grew up in this industry, been doing it for almost 25 years now, I had a full-time consulting business before I bought the business, and my full-time job was helping people open their coffee shops. And so one of the unique offerings that Gilder has, I mean, there's so many wholesale coffee roasters here in Portland and all over the United States, but one of the unique things that we offer is consulting for our wholesale clients. I've opened up so many coffee shops and I run my own coffee shops, and I'm very transparent with business. I grew up with a family of business owners, and my father's an immigrant from Iran, and he didn't go to school for business, and he struggled a lot with just not really understanding that side of things. And so I want to see small businesses succeed, and so I got the opportunity to grow my career on the business side of things, not owning my own business, and now I own my own business. And so all the stuff that I learned from growing retail for Stumptown, I now apply in my own business, and it allows just even simply understanding a profit and loss statement is new for a lot of small business owners. And so helping with budgeting for build out, pricing their menus, all of those staff training, that's something that we offer at Gilder, is more of a one-on-one coaching service, as I see it, as a wholesale partner. If your business succeeds, my business succeeds. And so a lot of coffee roasters don't own their own retail businesses, or they're not really connected to it in some ways. So I run my retail stores and I run my roastery, and I can offer a unique perspective to help my wholesale clients.
You're like a coffee queen. You have so much knowledge and info that you want to share and pass on with others. That's wonderful. And you've been doing it in the city for so long.
I have. I mean, I'm born and raised in the Pacific Northwest. I was born in Seattle, been in Seattle, but I moved from Portland back to Seattle and back and forth for most of my 20s and 30s. So I've been here since 2018 and don't plan on leaving. I love it here. But yeah, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. I worked at so many different coffee shops in Seattle and in Portland, and all of my friends that I was baristas with are now coffee businesses owners, which is so fun. Katie from Prince Coffee and I worked together. Sam from Good Coffee and I worked together. Roseline Coffee, all these different brands, they were all baristas that I worked with over the years, which is so fun to see us all succeed. And it actually is a huge benefit to me now as a business owner, because we're all friends. And when I don't know what to do, I just call one of them and we help each other out. And so I like to offer that to the rest of the specialty coffee community, which I've been very, very involved in the kind of global specialty coffee community. I was on the Barista Guild board for the Specialty Coffee Association for many, many years. And I'm also actively participated in the barista competitions, which is a global coffee competition. And I won the United States Barista Competition in 2014. And so I've just been very heavily involved in the global coffee community. I helped my family, my father and I helped develop the barista community in Iran, and they hosted their first ever national barista competition many years ago with our help. And so that connection and relationship and supporting each other is something that I've always been a part of. And it's like the most fun part about my job.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together.
Do you think there's a lot more women that are in the industry and that are opening their own coffee businesses?
it's so funny and shocking to me, but like I always think about this because almost everybody, like all my friends are all women that own coffee businesses. I was just in Las Vegas for my birthday last week with two of my closest girlfriends who are just growing their businesses and doing great things. And I'm on a constant text message thread with Catherine from the owner of Upper Left and True Tea and Katie from Prince Coffee. And we're just constantly supporting each other. And I just think that, coffee is such a relational, community focused brand. And a lot of the women that I work with also have children, and it allows for a bit of a flexibility. So I've just seen women really excel in this industry. And also, I just think we're really supportive. It's not I'm not competing with any of them. I want them all to succeed. So we're just like always supporting each other, which helps a lot.
That makes me really excited. And I've always wondered how we can support people who want to create a career as a barista and then move up to become an owner.
Yeah, and that's actually something that as I grow Gilder, I mean, we're very small. It's only been, Gilder Coffee Company as it is now has only been around for 1 year. The brand previously has been around for a long time. So I'm a new business owner, but I'm like a new business owner in steroids because I had this legacy that I was attached to. But I'm developing really like what is it that I want to do here at Gilder, and one of our ethos is this, what I call the Gilder legacy. And the idea here is that I understand, having grown up as a barista, I was a barista forever. You work for small companies, and at some point, if you want to grow your career, you're gonna leave the company you were at to go seek bigger things. And to me, that's not I don't want to invest in people that I'm gonna lose. To me, it's like, oh, great, you're going to go on to do great things. You learned that here, and you're going to go out and tell people how great Gilder was, where you learned from them. And now you're going to go do great things. And I can't wait for the day when Gilder is 10 years old, 20 years old, and I get to look around and see what people who worked for me are doing now. I think that's like such an amazing thing. My roaster here, Beckett, used to work for Dune Coffee, and the owner, Julia, is someone that I've become really good friends with. And I look at her and think like, wow, you've created this amazing brand. And I can point to all these people that worked for you that have now gone on to do great things. And I hope for us to be that stepping stone and platform. But on the other side of that, we just opened our roastery, which has a training lab. And so one thing that I would really like to do is connect with organizations that are doing work with at-risk youth on career development and allowing for services where we can offer barista training, because it is such a great job for, people start, I think, in college, like they get a job in college and they work at a coffee shop or something like that. But it's a job that you can go anywhere, and there's probably a coffee shop, right? So it's kind of like the service industry. You're getting customer service experience, you're getting food and beverage experience, you're getting a tactical skill of making coffee, and you're developing your palate. And I think it's a skill that can really go anywhere with you. And so I would love to be able to support local organizations that are doing that for.
Well, I was just wondering, the American Cheese Society has the cheese certification program. I was wondering if, since you're a guild, you could become like a certifying agency for baristas. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Let's talk a little bit about Prosper Portland. So they have a mission to create economic growth and opportunity for Portlanders. And I think that you received a grant from them. Is that right?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I learned about Prosper Portland before I even knew about the grant. I got connected with Prosper Portland from Sam from Good Coffee. He connected me, and I started to learn about them. And when I first took over the roasting operations with the tariffs, coffee had started to get tariffed, and we were paying about, coffee usually is like, let's say on average, like $5 a pound green coffee. The tariff was adding about another 50 cents per pound for us. And with coffee at historically high prices, plus this tariff, it got very, very scary for the specialty coffee industry and what we were going to do, including so much as Brazil, which was one of the largest exporters of specialty coffee, was tariffed at, I think, 50%. And it basically, we had, had to cancel contracts and getting our coffee and pivot really quickly. And Prosper Portland was really proactive in getting the local Portland coffee community together to start talking about what are the options that we as a community can support each other. And so they hosted a couple of these meetings, but I got connected with Ro Tam, who used to own Either Or Coffee. We had been friends for a really long time, and she owns Tanglewood Beverage, the chai company that a lot of cafes use. And we started talking about stuff, and I was like, man, I really need to get a roastery. And they had found this space, and it used to be a roaster, and they were like, it's in the Prosper Portland Grant District. And I was like, what? I don't know anything about this. And so I got to learn about it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, because I really, as a new business owner, we know that like it takes time to build up cash reserves to be able to make investments in your business. And I really just wasn't there yet, especially after buying the business. I took out an SBA loan for that, and we were just kind of building up our revenue and so on. And so as much as I needed a roastery and knew it was the right move, it was a scary thing to think, how was I be able to afford this? And so Ro and I applied for the ACT grant, which is for tenant improvements on buildings for food and beverage. And we're able to get it. And it really is what allowed us to move into this. So it's not just my business, but Ro's business as well. We're able to move into a production facility that is going to allow us to, I mean, I can probably 30x my business in this space, and I hope to do so. So yeah, without Prosper Portland, we wouldn't have been able to do this.
That's so cool. And for you to apply for that grant, did you just go on their website to do it, or?
It was honestly very easy. Yeah, I went on their website, looked at all of the requirements, and we qualified for everything. So we applied, and then they verified the qualification. And from there, we did some interviews and met with them, and eventually was awarded the grant. So
cool. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. And
Thank you. Yeah. A real game changer for our business, for sure.
Propels you into the future. It's so cool
Yeah.
that you have that new big production space. Let's tell people the best way that they can support you. How can the people in the community support your business?
We have our 3 cafes, which having people come in and visit our stores, we work so hard to create a really exceptional experience for people, not just from the coffee, but from our food, our spaces. But we also are a wholesale and e-commerce platform. And so if you have any friends or people anywhere around the United States who own their own coffee company or want to start their own coffee shops, we do wholesale coffee, and we're a really great wholesale partner for people that own coffee shops, where we can offer, blends and single origins and the training and all that sort of stuff, but also e-commerce. So if you know anybody who loves coffee and want to get some really amazing Portland coffee shipped to their door, we ship all over the US. So supporting us through any of those mediums and just sharing what we're doing is always helpful.
I have a coffee shop question. How many coffee shops should be in a square mile? Do you kind of have a number?
I think that's dependent on population, for sure. I mean, you see in Los Angeles or New York, there's coffee shops right across the street from each other. In Portland, I think we are a bit cannibalized. I mean, thankfully, Portland loves supporting local, and Portland loves coffee. So that is always makes it easy. But I really want to grow my retail presence, because that's kind of my bread and butter is retail. That's what I've been doing my whole life, and I feel very comfortable with it. I'd love to grow my retail footprint, but I'm very, very cautious about being too close to other coffee shops for that reason, that it is hard to be successful in what I consider successful in terms of retail. I mean, if you're a single coffee shop and you only have, 1 or 2 baristas on for the day, and you're just serving coffee, your revenue requirement to be successful, depending on your location and rent, isn't too wild. But for me, as a coffee roasting company, and we have food, and I'm trying to grow, I'm pretty particular about how much revenue I want a store to do. And so I'm pretty hesitant to open anything that's too close to other shops, because I just don't think that the store will do the revenue that I really want it to do to, again, hit my mark of success. But so Portland, it's a much wider thing to me. I mean, I would say blocks, but in other places, you can open up across the street from someone else and it won't matter.
And do you have any advice for anybody that's currently dreaming up a business?
Oh man, my start as an entrepreneur, I have so much experience. I grew up with entrepreneurs, so I knew what I was walking into. I grew up in this business, and so I felt so confident walking into this. But bombshell of my life with 3 kids to go through a divorce 6 months into buying my own business and navigating that for the next year after that, and then taking it over completely and now running it by myself when I never imagined that I would be. Throw that in the mix, and I feel like, ultimately, especially as a woman, I just feel so confident in my ability to just make it happen. And I think that being a strong woman and being a mom who knows how to multitask and get things done, I would just say don't underestimate yourself. Like you're capable of so much more than you even know. And your network of people is going to be one of your greatest assets. And I feel really thankful for the Portland coffee community. I feel thankful for the Portland small business community. That was a goal of mine, was in my first year of business, was to connect more with the larger small business community, and had a great time connecting with people, and now feel like so thankful that a year later, I feel so connected with this local community, and that network of people is always going to be one of my greatest assets. So get out there and connect, meet people. It can be scary, but it'll be well worth it.
I think that's great advice. I loved having you on the show and hearing about your business. I hope everybody comes and visits your coffee shops and buys your coffee. And I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. And Sarah, I appreciate it. It was so great to be here.
Thank you.
And thanks to our listeners for tuning into the show. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. You can follow us on Instagram or YouTube at Meaningful Marketplace Podcast. You can call or text Sarah and I with questions at 503-395-8858. We couldn't do this without our fantastic team at Joy of Creation Production House. Thanks to today's producer, Dirk Marshall, and Haley, our audio engineer. And we will be back next week, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye for now.
If you love the stories we bring you each week, please consider supporting us on Patreon. As an independent media company, your support is absolutely essential. It allows us to continue creating high-quality professional episodes that amplify the voices of women, small business owners, writers, artists, and creatives, and keep their stories free from commercial pressure. By becoming a Patreon member, you're not just supporting us, you're investing in the future of independent media. Please visit patreon.com/The Joy of Creation Production House to join our community today. Thank you for listening and supporting our podcast dreams.